He was a field agent, and serving his country was his dream. But CIA betrayed him. A betrayal which will haunt CIA in days yet to come. Welcome back to Paramount Recapped. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. So, the main guy, Aaron Cross, is part of this shady top-secret government gig called Operation Outcome. Basically, they juice up their agents with pills, green ones to make them stronger and blue ones to boost their brains. Aaron's just one of the many guinea pigs in the program, and he goes by the codename Number 5. At the start, Cross is out in the Alaskan wilderness doing some sort of training. He ends up bumping into another guy from the same program, Number 3. Their first chat is kinda awkward. Number 3's all confused about why Cross is there 2 days early. Cross tells him he had to go off-trail and hike over some nasty mountains because he dropped his pills while being chased by wolves. He also mentions that he had to do some scheduled blood sampling and send it back to HQ, which is something the program requires regularly. Now here's where it gets interesting. The path Cross took is known to be insanely tough, even for these enhanced agents. The fact that he made it through without any of his usual gear blows Number 3's mind, and not in a good way. It kind of rubs him the wrong way, probably because it makes Cross look like a super soldier compared to him. Still, they kind of settle their tension after Number 3 offers to send in some of his own blood, pretending it's Cross's. Not exactly friendly, but at least they're not at each other's throats. Later, with a snowstorm heading their way, Number 3 tells Cross he can stick around another night since traveling would be risky. That evening, as Cross lies down, he notices some scratchings in the wood above his bed, one of them being the name Jason Bourne. And yup, this is the same Jason Bourne who's currently wreaking havoc over in New York by exposing the whole Treadstone and Blackbriar mess, which were also top-secret government ops. Thanks to Bourne's actions, the CIA is in panic mode. A bunch of higher-ups, including Deputy Director Pamela Landy and a guy named Noah Vosen, are now being looked at by the FBI. The pressure's on, and another CIA bigwig, Ezra Kramer, who's also feeling the heat, calls in a retired Air Force colonel named Eric Byer. Byer is like the fixer for all the dirty ops, and he's tasked with cleaning this whole mess up. Byer's solution? Wipe the slate clean, literally. He decides to shut down Operation Outcome completely, which means getting rid of all the agents involved. He sends out some new meds to the agents, which are actually a death trap disguised as routine supplies. Around this time, he also realizes that Cross and Number 3 are in the same location. So he sends out a drone to take care of them both in one go. Cross, being the super enhanced guy he is, picks up a strange noise in the distance and tells Number 3. They agree to split up and check the area. Just moments after Cross walks out of the cabin, boom, missile hits and Number 3 is history. Cross figures out fast that he's now on the CIA's hit list. He takes off through the wilderness, trying to stay off their radar. He ends up taking out the drone with a sniper rifle, but he knows they won't stop there. So, in a genius move, he digs out a tracking chip that was planted under his skin, catches a wolf, and makes the poor animal swallow it. Not long after, another drone homes in on the chip and blows the wolf to pieces, making Byer think Cross is dead. Spoiler, he's not. Meanwhile, Byer keeps going on a rampage. He sends those fake meds to agents all over the world, and they start dropping dead. To clean up even more evidence, he brainwashes one of the program's top scientists, Dr. Donald Foyt, and turns him into a killer. The guy walks into the lab where all the outcome researchers work and starts getting them down one by one. It's a total bloodbath. Only one person manages to escape, Dr. Marta Shearing. Cross, still on the run, finds out where the lab was and heads to Maryland. He grabs a prep car that has all the stuff he needs, new IDs, different license plates, cash, the works. He drives out near Marta's countryside home. Back at Marta's place, she's getting ready to skip town and head to Montreal. Before she can leave, four people show up pretending to be friendly government types. But it's clear they're actually there to finish what Foyt started. One of them tries to convince her that Foyt was obsessed with her. His place was filled with photos of her and even her clothes. Another claims to be a psychiatrist and says Foyt left her alive on purpose. Marta, of course, isn't buying it. Back at Dr. Marta Shearing's place, things take a nasty turn. One of the agents poking around ends up stumbling upon her gun, and that's when she flips. She tells them to leave immediately. But the so-called psychiatrist with them starts talking nonsense, saying they need to check if she's a danger to herself. Before Shearing can even wrap her head around it, the other two agents grab her, clearly trying to make it look like she's going to take her own life. It's a total setup. But just when things are about to go completely south for her, guess who crashes the party? Aaron Cross. He shows up like a boss and takes out all 4 agents in one swift and brutal move. Once the dust settles, he reminds her who he is, and after putting the pieces together, she agrees to help him out. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Shearing explains that Cross had gone through a crazy genetic upgrade process. Because of that, he didn't need to keep taking the green enhancement pills anymore. They call this process viraling off. Sounds fancy, right? But here's the catch. He's still reliant on the blue pills that sharpen his mind, and it's been a few days since his last dose. That means he's starting to feel it, like his brain's slowing down. Cross realizes he doesn't have much time before his enhanced intelligence starts fading away. So he convinces Shearing to hop on a flight with him to Manila. That's where the blue pills are made, and he's hoping he could do the same viral off process with those like he did with the green ones. On their way there, Cross opens up a bit more. He tells her his real name, Kenneth Kitsom, and that he used to be in the US Army. His recruiter had to boost his IQ just enough to qualify for the program. That little pill boost gave him 12 extra IQ points. Wild, right? He also shares that after getting injured in Iraq by an IED, the government faked his death. Instead of returning to civilian life, he was handed a chance to become part of a secret mission. Outcome. Back in Washington, D.C., Eric Byer is still obsessing over tracking them down. He finds out that Shearing isn't alone and that Cross is helping her. Based on some info collected from travel hubs, he guesses they're headed to Manila to try and pull off the blue pill viral off procedure. Not wanting to take any chances, he sends in a serious piece of work, Larks 03. This guy's a genetically modified assassin who already went through the viral off process. He's all muscle, no emotion, and 100% deadly. Byer drops Larks 03 into Manila with clear orders. Wipe out Cross, and Shearing before Cross can regain his mental edge. Meanwhile, some political shifts are happening. Pamela Landy is about to be charged for helping Jason Bourne, while Vosen might get off scot-free and even return to duty. Classic power shuffle. Once in Manila, Cross and Shearing make their way to the facility that produces the enhancement meds. Shearing sets up the viral off treatment for the blue pills, and they go through with it. But before they can relax, Byer contacts the lab supervisor and tells them to lock the pair in the basement. Luckily, Cross and Shearing make their escape before Lark shows up. They find a safe spot in a nearby apartment, and Shearing helps Cross get through the rough viral off process. He starts having vivid flashbacks of his time in the program and being recruited by Byer. In his delirium, he tells Shearing that he has $40,000 stitched inside his jacket lining, just in case something happens. He also urges her to get out and save herself, insisting she's already done more than enough. But she refuses to leave him alone and stays by his side. The next morning, Larks rats out Cross's location to the local police, hoping they'll flush him out into the open. While Shearing is out picking up medicine, she sees the cops rolling up. She hurries back and warns Cross, who's back on his feet and ready to fight. He manages to dodge the police, swoops in to grab Shearing, and together they make a break for it on a stolen motorbike. What follows is a full-throttle chase through the crowded streets and alleyways of Manila. Cross gets hit, but he still manages to wound Larks. Even injured, Larks keeps coming after them. But Shearing, thinking quick, kicks Larks off his bike during a tight turn. He crashes hard into a pillar and dies instantly. Cross is barely hanging on at this point. Shearing manages to guide the bike into a smooth slide, and they come to a stop together without crashing. As the chaos dies down, they give a gold watch, swiped from the pill factory, to a local boat guy in exchange for a ride. He takes them on board, and they drift off into the unknown, leaving the madness behind them, for now. And that's a wrap on the Bourne legacy. If you had fun tagging along, make sure you smash that like button. If you didn't, well, hit that dislike button twice, just to be sure. Definitely check out the full movie for the full thrill. Thanks for watching.